I'm finna get into some real talk right now, you know what I'm saying? Because by the sun been in my third house and it's going through my fourth house right now, which is the sun is in Scorpio right now. So, you know what I'm saying? I haven't been having a lot of time for certain like energies that I usually do. This is more of a I need a lot of energy for my home right now, a lot of energy for people I care about, people I love, and people who participate in what's going on. So that's the theme that's been going on right now until the sun goes into my fifth house, the same way Saturn is right now. And actually, Saturn is conjuncting my moon right now. And it's not going to be too long from right now that the Saturn goes into Antares. You know what I'm saying? Conjunct Antares. So I got an Antares moon, but reason why I say conjunction because it's just like a three to four orb. You know what I'm saying? I think Saturn's in 4 or 5 degrees Sagittarius right now. So anytime Saturn is a restriction. So when you want to go into the house, which is the original house of Sagittarius, is ninth house, and my chart is the fifth house, and it overlaps the Leo original house. And what happens here is when you have Saturn transitioning Sagittarius for everybody, you know what I'm saying? This is going to be a restriction on being spontaneous. You're not going to be as free feeling that you thought you was. You're not going to be able to travel the way you thought you was. You're not going to be able to expound on your religious matters the way you thought you was. You're not going to be able to just to practically learn the way you thought you was without having a real foundation and structure to how you do things on a day-to-day basis. It has to be on a practical level. Like if you're going to try to learn something at this time, you have to take notes. Ain't no learning something based off experience right now. Saturn is in Sagittarius. You still got a few that can do that right now because it's in the early stages, but once it reaches that Antares planet, it's gonna the practicality of the Antares energy is gonna be so big and huge that it's gonna force you to follow these ramifications. Now, in a little bit, it's gonna end up trining Uranus because Uranus is gonna go direct, and Uranus is in Aries right now. It actually conjuncts my sun. So Uranus right now is taking me through changes with all outlooks. And then with Saturn being here, it's having me, I don't want to say worried because it's actually a fire sign. So with Saturn into a fire sign, it tends to throw stress than worry. If it was a more of a water or earth sign, Saturn would throw worry. But when it's a fire or air sign, Saturn throws agitation. It throws a form of feeling like something just put handcuffs on you, and you start to get frustrated if you can't get out of them. That's what it kind of does to air and fire. Now, reason why I'm having this kind of conversation right now is because outlooks and religious outlooks, educational outlooks, philosophy outlooks, social outlooks, all type of demographic and outlooks is going to be changed for these next few months. They're going to go through drastic changes, and these changes is needed. You know what I'm saying? These changes is needed. And when you have Uranus and Saturn in a trine, you know what I'm saying? What happens here is they're both on the same page. So Saturn is going to give Uranus the practicality and the tools it needs to do the change in a proper way. And Uranus is going to give Saturn enough courage to go through a change, even if you don't have all the practical things that you need in a moment of change. So and then by it being in Sagittarius, Saturn that is, here's where faith is going to kick in. So a lot of people is going to have faith around this time that's coming up, and you know what I'm saying, a great deal of it, a great abundance of it. And if you don't like the term faith and you're not religious or anything like that, then I'm gonna take a form of going with your gut feeling or if it's not your gut feeling, I'm going to say go with your innate awareness of letting go of the what, when, where, and how, and just going with the flow. Now, reason why I said this here is because nothing is new under the sun. Nothing is new under the sun. So I say that to say this: everything you experiencing now been here before. It been here, and we're not figuring out anything new. Just like with time, it's not like it's not like we created a system for time. Time was already here. We created the system to understand it. That's it. So, by that being said, you have I'm gonna just go ahead and be direct. At one point in time, we all was in a form that we can fly. Because if that wasn't the case, there would be no such thing if anything flying right now. You know what I'm saying? So this creates the vortex of us being able to fly. Now, before I get into that example of proving that, I'm going to give you another example of how time and time that we downgraded ourselves, and it's so normal that we don't look at it like it's anything wrong. Okay, now let's go with the clock. Now, there was a point in time where all beings that was here knew knew the time without a clock. Now, when we started down the line, I'm not even gonna say we. When you human beings started creating clocks down the line, all y'all did was take a mathematical system that was already here and applied it to a programming system that we can abide by as a collective, as a collectiveness, to understand the time and the night, the day and the night. Now, there was a time when we didn't have the actual material to create clocks, but we knew this. A smaller scale and a lower form on the pyramid of this concept right here is when before cell phones, everybody knew how to remember a specific number. Nowadays, you'll be lost without your cell phone. Like you really can't even remember how life was without a cell phone. You know what I'm saying? With this house phone. So that's a lower scale, lower pyramid of what the shits I'm finna get into. Now, with the actual clocks and the time, like I said, we created the clock based upon the sciences that was already here. Now, that proves that time has been here. We didn't create it. So that you could apply that to everything. Everything that you see in existence was here. So if we created airplanes that fly, then that means at one point in time we flew. If we created clocks that tell time, then that means at one point in time we told time. And I just gave you an example how we did. You have people who whole days was to go lay and look and sky gaze, stargaze, and figure out what time, or figure out when does the day go down, when does the night come up. It even got so deep that they figured out how Pacific people act that's born in this certain time, and how Pacific people act born in this specific time, to the point that they had got it all packed down and they got the zodiac wheel popping. So apply that. Now, since we used to tell time, as generations and generations and thousands of years have passed, we got lazy. I'm not gonna say we. You guys got lazy as human beings and created the clock with the hands on there. So now you can tell the time. So now you have whole generations out there who wouldn't even know how to tell the time, who wouldn't even understand a day without the clock, or without some form of TV or something like that. Now, that's a small scale letting you know we lost sciences. Now, we have actual airplanes, right? That fly. Jets, spaceships, shit that fly. So if we was able to create a clock and lose track as generations and generations goes down of how to tell time by just going outside, don't you think that same mechanism and brainwave happened with us flying? Because we obviously flew because we created airplanes. And what does an airplane do? It flies. So at one point in time, before we got lazy consciousness wise, with you, I gotta stop applying myself. Got lazy consciousness wise, you know what I'm saying? And thought that you was helping by creating alternative, then now you can't fly. You need that alternative to fly. And when we used to know how to tell the, you used to got your guys used to know how to tell the time. Now you don't know how to tell the time. You need the alternative to tell the time, which is the clock. Now, don't you think this is happening with your life, with the computers? Now, generations and now we you think you're helping right now, making things easier, but you're making the conscious human brain lazier. Now you thinking you're making things easier by throwing a lot of things on the computer, easy to go to, Google, easy to learn something. But it takes the process of you actually going to learn it. So now when generations and generations go down, people aren't even not even going to know how to live because they're going to need the alternative to live, which the computer is becoming the alternative lifestyle now. So we went from alternative clocks, from telling time, to alternative flying, to now you're going to need alternative lives, to the point that, listen, all you really need to do is elaborate on what I'm saying right now, and you can go into your own fear of reality and get into your own conversations with peers and amongst people you be beyond. And I'm just throwing little perceptions out there to let you know where things is going, where things is headed for. Flight boss, bitch, you know, for sure. Oh, it's Grams, goddamn. Archangel Uriel, mine inventory's moon. And it's trying up with my ascendant and my sun. So I am Uriel, period. Flight boss, bitch. Goddamn, nigga. Flight boss. And my